Hello, this is Adam Brisbane. You may have seen me at the Liberty meeting, the Liberty State meeting in Wenatchee. I sat in front and I was a little bit of a heckler. I said, Fukushima killed the ocean, and that I wanted to do my speech. And I drove 100 miles to do my speech while they were pulling me out. But before that, I shook hands with the Sheriff of Republic, and that has a little bit of significance. You see, you can't just walk all over the First Amendment. That's the First Amendment for a reason. Free speech has to be protected. And it was really a metaphor. Now, why does it have significance? There's two ways you can become a governor. And I took the path less traveled by. Let me tell you why I wanted to start a new country on the West Coast back in 2014. I tried and I failed. But what I can do is start Washington State with a fresh start. Now, the people voted. They wanted a new state. 71% wanted Liberty State to be a thing. Well, if you look at all the counties, it's really pretty much all of Washington. So we're just going to take it that way. It's a new state in Washington. Jay Inslee is no longer technically the governor. And there's a reason for that. He fails to understand basic rights. And understanding the right to life is important. We have an unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What does the word unalienable mean? It means that it is something that cannot be taken away, even by the government. And some might argue that you lost that right when you chose to act like a wild goose. The thing is, it is unalienable. You have a right to life that must be upheld by the government. It must be upheld by every corporation. Okay? Now, if there's an intruder, it's still castle law. So you have a right to defend yourself. And the Second Amendment will not be infringed here in Washington State. But the main thing is, we have to protect freedom of speech, and we have to finally uphold basic rights, or this country's just lost. Now, when you look at this, it makes you think, how much power does a man really have? They want to say that there is a choice, but rights come first. Upholding basic rights comes first. So even the unborn from the womb have an unalienable right to life. Now they want to whittle that down, and they want to sell your unborn and sometimes born babies on the side and sell their body parts to various industries. And that's just going to come to a stop right now. And it's a rude awakening for America what a right to life really means. It means not only is abortion a thing of the past, you're going to have your babies at term. And if you're still a broken person, well, you can always set your baby at the nearest fire station and we'll take it from there. It also means that death row is over. It also means that lethal force by police is a thing of the past because they represent the government. They have to uphold your unalienable right to life. That's just the reality. That's the harsh reality that America really never understood. And it failed to understand the Eighth Amendment as well. Now, for decades, for centuries, we have put man in a cage under the guise of justice. But if you take a look at the Eighth Amendment, if you're really serious about upholding the Constitution, that means putting a man in a cage is cruel. It has always been cruel. You can't really deny that it's cruelty. So that has to change. America was actually supposed to be different. It was supposed to be different than all the other nations. It was supposed to be fresh. And we lost sight of that and we threw liberty under the bus in exchange for corruption, in exchange for a prison industrial complex that will sue the state if it doesn't have prisoners at maximum occupancy. You see, we've fallen by the wayside. We have to do things differently. We have to quit trying to be so vindictive and trying to punish. In my book, I make the argument, you don't punish a police dog to get it to do what you want. You reward it. So we're switching from a society of punishment to a society of reward. And we're going from a society that breaks apart the family unit to one that tries to preserve it. And that's the direction I want to go as your new governor. So, here we are. Welcome to the new Washington.